All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Wake Up Call. My name is Kirby Wright, and I'm dialing in from Tennessee this morning, and we are here to hopefully give you a little bit of motivation, a little 15-minute segment to start your day, and we're in a book called 100 Ways to Motivate Yourself by Steve Chandler. This is Change Your Life Forever, and that's kind of the plan here. So hopefully we can add to that a little bit. And with that, my wife, Cindy Wright, is going to do the call, so I'll introduce her right now. Miss Cindy, you got the call.
Oh, all right. Thanks, Kirby. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Wake Up Call. Happy Monday. This is Chapter 5, Learn to Sweat in Peace. Interesting title. This guy has some interesting titles. He says, the harder you are on yourself, the easier life is on you. Or, as they say in the Navy SEALs, the more you sweat in peacetime, the less you bleed in war. My childhood friend, Wright was the first to show me this principle in action. When we were playing Little League baseball, we were always troubled by how fast the pitchers threw the ball. We were in a especially good league, and the overgrown opposing pitchers, whose birth certificates we were always demanding to see, fired the ball into us at alarming speeds during the games. We began dreading going up to the plate to hit. It wasn't fun. Batting had become something we just tried to get through without embarrassing ourselves too much. Then Wright got an idea. What if the pitches we faced in games were slower than the ones we face every day in practice, he asked. That's just the problem, I said. We don't know anybody who can pitch that fast to us. That's why in the games it's so hard. The ball looks like an aspirin pill coming in at 200 miles an hour. I know we don't know anyone who can throw a baseball that fast, said Wright, but what if it wasn't a baseball? He said, I don't know what you mean. Just then, Wright pulled out from his pocket a little plastic golf ball with holes in it, the kind our dads used to hit in the backyard for golf practice. Get a bat, he said. I picked up a baseball bat, and we walked out to the park near Wright's house. Wright went to the pitcher's mound, but came in about 3 feet closer than usual. As I stood at the plate, he fired the little golf ball past me as I tried to swing at it. Ha ha, Wright shouted. That's faster than anybody you'll face in Little League. Let's get going. We then took turns pitching to each other with this bizarre little ball humming in at incredible speeds. The little plastic ball was not only hilariously fast, but it curved and dropped more sharply than any Little Leaguer pitcher could do. By the time Wright and I played our next league game, we were ready. The pitches looked like they were coming in slow motion, big white balloons. I hit the first and only home run I ever hit after one of Wright's sessions. It was off a left-hander whose pitch seemed to hang in the air forever before I creamed it. The lesson Wright taught me was one I've never forgotten. Whenever I'm afraid of something coming up, I will find a way to do something that's even harder or scarier. Once I do the harder thing, the real thing becomes fun. The great boxer Muhammad Ali used this principle in choosing his sparring partners. He'd make sure that the sparring partners he worked with before a fight were better than the boxer he was going up against in the real fight. They might not always be better all around, but he found sparring partners who were each better in one certain way or another than his upcoming opponent. After facing them, he knew going into each fight that he had already fought those skills and won. You can always stage a bigger battle than the one you have to face. If you have to make a presentation in front of someone who scares you, you can always rehearse it in front of someone who scares you more. If you've got something hard to do and you're hesitant to do it, pick out something even harder and do that first. Watch what it does to your motivation going into the real challenge. I think this is an interesting topic because I don't know too many people who really do this, that grow from, motivating themselves this way. I know that, like a lot of times people say, when you're making a list of things you've got to do, for the day, tackle the hardest thing first. So once you've tackled that, you feel like, oh, I can accomplish anything. And I think that's kind of what he's saying here, is that go on and do the hardest thing, and then the rest of everything seems easier. And I get that too, especially when you think about speaking in front of a group of people. I used to be nervous to speak, like in a home meeting, just in front of 2 or 3 people. And then it was like once I spoke in front of a lot of people that I thought I would never be able to do, then the rest of it was just easy. I mean, doing that hard thing made everything else and every other time easier. And so I think that this is a good lesson, Kirby. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on it.
Well, I was trying to think of an analogy this morning about how this might relate to me or how I might have done something like this in the past. And we live out here in Tennessee on a lake, and we used to ski on this lake a lot. And I was just remembering about how I used to ski. I'm talking 50 years ago. I couldn't do it now, but we used to do a lot of barefoot water skiing. Now, when you barefoot water ski, ideally you want the water to be pretty calm. Perfect glass water is a lot of fun to barefoot on. But in order to train, in order to see how well we could do, we would go out and barefoot in really choppy water, which was really hard. So we could go out there and do that. And if we could survive a 100 or 200 or 300-foot run in choppy water, then when we got on the glass, it was easy peasy. Okay, so I can kind of relate to that, to push yourself to the limit on learning and practicing so that when the real-time exercise comes around, it's a whole lot easier. That's just what it made me think of, and I'm not sure how that may apply in your life, but I'll give it back to you, Cindy, for any closing thoughts.
Well, I remember those days when you were barefooting on that glass water, and it's so true. I mean, if you can ski or slalom or barefoot in rough waters with high wake and all of that, then when you have that day that's calm and nobody's out there, it's like a piece of cake. And so anyway, of course, we don't even ski anymore, but we just ride, watch other people do it. But anyway, this has been, I think, a good chapter. So I'll give it to you to close the call.
All right, Miss Slalom Skier, you were a pretty good skier in your day, too. So thank you for that, Cindy, and thanks for dialing in the wake-up call. Hopefully you got a little something out of this. We do this every Monday through Friday at 8:15 a.m., so please join us and bring some friends. And thanks for dialing in the wake-up call. I'll unmute the call.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for dialing in.